So I can already see police have gathered, cars, people are there. So lots of activity happening. Give us an update of what we can expect.
A very good morning to you and good morning to our viewers at home. Certainly already a buzz of activity here outside and inside the Pietermaritzburg High Court. And of course, in about 2 hours' time, the former President Jacob Zuma and his co-accused, a French arms company, Thales, will be again making an appearance here at the court for their corruption trial. Let me quickly just start on what is happening on the outside this morning, Leanne. For the first time, we've seen a huge stage that has been set up in anticipation of hundreds, we are told, of supporters of the former president that are expected to come through from across South Africa, provinces like Mpumalanga, the Free State and the Northwest. We are told that buses and taxis are en route here to show their support to the former president. And of course, while there's going to be a great deal of focus on the outside, the supporters, of course, will be eagerly waiting to see the former president, as well as the ANC leaders that are also going to be coming out here today to show their support, namely the suspended Secretary General of the ANC, Ace Magashule, the former Northwest Premier, Supra Mahumapelo, to name but a few. And of course, also inside court, we'll be eagerly awaiting to hear what is going to happen in terms of the application that the former president's defense team is going to be submitting or filing before this court, seeking the recusal of a state prosecutor, Advocate Billy Down. Of course, I'm not going to be alone today in bringing SABC News coverage of this case. I'm with my colleagues Simpiwe Makanya and Samgelo Masego. Let me start with Simpiwe. Of course, he was inside the court for us the last time. Simpiwe, thank you very much for your time. Inside court today, we're anticipating the application, of course, today that is going to be filed by the former president, seeking the recusal of State Advocate Billy Down.
Certainly, Ayanda, good morning to you and good morning to the viewers as well. But just before I answer your question, Ayanda, I can certainly tell our viewers that outside court I see some familiar faces already. That's the national spokesperson of the MKMVA, Mr. Carl Niehaus, is already here together with the former President Jacob Zuma's son, Edward Zuma, eagerly awaiting the arrival of thousands and thousands of people who are expected to arrive here at the Pietermaritzburg High Court. But speaking about what is going to happen inside court today, Ayanda, I can tell you that the expectation is that the former president will then have to, table these papers in court to actually give an indication of the allegation that has been making throughout this case, Ayanda, that this case is politically motivated. But of course, we know that today the focus is on this plea, the special plea application, which seeks to, ensure that the current advocate in this particular matter, Advocate Billy Downer, recuses himself. The spokesperson of the African National Congress in KwaZulu-Natal, Ayanda Mhlongo, speaking to us in the previous court appearance, said that they expect more and more people to actually be here, but they will ensure that the COVID-19 protocols are observed.
Speaking about the ANC's the Secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, let me now talk to my colleague Samgelo Masego. Sam, focuses on the inside, but of course I think a lot of it is also shifted to the outside. Again, we're expecting Ace Magashule, the suspended Secretary General of the ANC, Supra Mahumapelo, the former Premier and Chair of the ANC in the Northwest. Interesting developments the last time, and particularly in relation to the leaders of the ANC when they were booed. Sam, what can we expect this time?
Essentially, we can still expect the same hostile environment that the provincial secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, Mdumiseni and the provincial chairperson, Sihlezi Galala, received. In fact, if you remember the quote by Mdumiseni in saying, quote, if nipasiwe lana uzobusha leadership ANC, we won't allow that, end of quote. Loosely translated, that if you've been passed in here to boo the leadership of the ANC, we will not allow that. This comes after the ANC's Provincial Executive Committee has a standing resolution to support the former president in their personal capacity, which they went to persuade the national officials of the ANC, and subsequently went back recently to try and come and officiate these political programs. With this massive stage that has been set there, you can expect once again the Provincial Secretary Mdumiseni to officiate that program. This also comes at the midst of the ANC's National Working Committee saying more charges can be conferred against Tony Yengeni, the ANC ANC's NEC member, Carl Niehaus, who's also here as an outspoken supporter of the Radical Economic Transformation faction within the African National Congress, and the Secretary General of the ANC, who was pretty much aggrieved by the ANC's National Working Committee statement yesterday evening by their Deputy General Secretary, Jesse Duarte, who's performing the functions of the SGO of Ace Magashule. So the coalition of the wounded is going to be on the stage. They're going to be speaking their political program. One wonders if the former President Jacob Zuma will mute them like he muted them last week by saying, don't bring your issues of within the ANC to my court. Come here to support me, and let's leave other issues of ANC to other places like regional conferences like in the branches.
Sam, you made a very interesting point the last time when you were here, where you're making this link between what is happening here, looking ahead at the ANC's upcoming 55th National Conference, to say that people must not by any means kid themselves in a way, to say that this and what is happening here, the mobilization that we see here, has got nothing to do with the upcoming conference. It has everything to do with that conference.
Makanya is going to come in, our colleague, and speak about the 11 regions of KwaZulu-Natal that have to go to their regional conferences. Just yesterday, Mdumisani Ntuli, the provincial secretary, announced that 11 ANC members, including the eThekwini former mayor and former regional chairperson Zandile Kumete, have stepped aside. You've got Mxolisi Tukwana, who's a nimis of Ace Magashule in the Free State province, who's now the convener of the provincial talks team of that particular province. And you've got the same happening in the Northwest province. So all of these regions, and you've got the president of the ANC in the last ANC NEC closing that NEC, saying that about 2,200 branches of the ANC out of the 4,300 across the country have held their BG, their branch general meetings in preparation for an NGC that may take place, or a policy conference. He's essentially ready for an NGC. He's essentially saying they've already kickstarted their program of already going to the 55th National Conference of the ANC and the onslaught against the SG and all of those whom are facing charges in the ANC.
Totally, thank you very much, Samgelo Masego and my colleagues Mpiwe Makanya, and we will of course, Lian, continue to bring you all the latest inside and outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Lian, it's back to you.
Ayanda, thanks very much, and to the rest of the team getting us covered there from the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Just an apology for the poor sound quality that was coming through from Pietermaritzburg, but I'm sure we'll sort that one out for the next crossing.